Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. This is the weekly market update live stream. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you to my YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Also, if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝗁, this is my Twitter handle. I regularly post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. So make sure that you are following this handle. And if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. A link you can find in the description of this video. All of these links, even to the Bluffin affiliate referral link, also you can find in the description of this video. So let's start the stream. If you guys have any questions, any chat requests, you can drop in the chat box. I would get back to you as soon as I'm done with the update part. Uh, so the US market just opened like 2-3 minutes ago. First of all, the most important update that the US government shutdown has finally ended. It was the longest shutdown. It was the longest government shutdown in the US history. And the CPI data was supposed to be released today. The consumer price index data, the inflation data was supposed to be released today. But due to the government shutdown, we have not received that data. Uh, you know, just yesterday also, the White House press secretary had already mentioned that probably we are not going to get the. She was basically blaming the Democrats for that. She said that because of this shutdown, we are most likely not going to have the inflation data for the month of October. But yeah, CPI was the most important highlight of the day, but unfortunately, there is no CPI released today. The data was not released because of the government shutdown. And now that the government shutdown has finally ended, you guys can once again start following the same calendar, Forex Factory. This is a website that I'm using. You guys can see that as of now, we don't have any specific events. I guess the next most important event is going to be FOMC. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that part as well. uh, I guess the next FOMC meeting is on 9th or 10th of December. That is going to be the most important event, during the month of December. The reason is because, the odds of rate cut have increased up to 80%, which is once again going to be a really bullish thing. Anyways, let's talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now is trading at 102,000. The first chart that we're going to start with, that's the stablecoin dominance chart. So in my morning update, I mentioned that because stablecoin dominance is sitting at support, remember this thing, stablecoin dominance, it's sitting at support, and Bitcoin dominance, this chart is also sitting at support. So the daily bias for today, it will remain negative. I mean, I would not suggest taking any long positions right now, once again, because stablecoin dominance right now, I would like to repeat once again, stablecoin dominance right now is sitting at this support level. So until or unless you have a 4-hour close below 9.10 level, which we have not received so far, we do not have any 4H close below this level. Until and unless you have a 4H close below 9.10 level, you would treat this as a support. You would look at this as price for stablecoin dominance sitting at this higher time frame support level. I mean, on the daily time frame chart, it would be much more clear to you. You guys can see that on the daily time frame chart, stablecoin dominance is still sitting at this 9.20 to 9.10 support level. So until or unless you have a 4H close below this level, you would continue to treat this as a support. And in the same case, uh, you know, uh, the same is the case with the Bitcoin dominance chart as well, which is also sitting at support. So this is not the ideal situation for taking a long position, for taking an altcoin long position. And on top of that, you guys can see that. And by the way, this reclaim only happened yesterday. You guys can see that this was the reclaim. Price had a 4H close above 9.20% level. And then this is the retest. This is the first retest. First retest is turning out to be a successful one. And the most important part is that now we have this descending trend line as well. Before this happened, when price was trading under this level, we only had this ascending trend line on the daily time frame chart. The first bounce, the second bounce, the third bounce, we have a very similar kind of trend line on the Bitcoin dominance chart as well. And we know that whenever there is an ascending trend line present in the chart, price sooner or later would break below this trend line. But the important part is that this ascending trend line is present on the daily time frame chart. meaning that it would take some time for price to break below this level. And now that stablecoin dominance has finally reclaimed 9.20 to 9.10% level, it is even more difficult. I mean, it will definitely take some time for stablecoin dominance to break below this level. The formation of this trend line only got confirmed after this latest bounce, after this last bounce, which happened back on 11th of November. And especially when you have these higher time frame trend lines, like the daily time frame trend line, even when you would take a look at the chart for Bitcoin also, we had a similar kind of trend line on the Bitcoin chart at two different occasions. This was, I guess, the first time. You guys can see that. We had the first bounce, then we had the second bounce, then we had the third bounce, the fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one. Now, even if you would take a look at it on the 4-hour time frame chart, you would notice that it took some time for price to break below this level. There were multiple bounces happening at this level. And I remember at the time when this was happening, we were doing this live stream, and I was mentioning during that live stream that it would take a few hours for price to break below this level. You guys can see that the trend lines present on the higher time frame charts, price would first of all confirm the formation of these trend lines. And remember that you would need 3 point of contacts to confirm the formation of a trend line. And after that, price would just continue to bounce at the trend line. It would give like 4, 5, 6 bounces at the trend line. And how do you know? How would you know that price is about to break below the trend line? Just before price gives a break below the trend line, it would start giving you very small bounces at this level. It would start giving you very small bounces at this trend line, basically showing that the buyers, they're slowly losing interest in this level. So the same is the case with the stablecoin dominance chart as well. First of all, the most important part is that the formation of this trend line only got confirmed back on 11th of November, right? With this latest bounce, which happened back on 11th of November, almost 2 days ago, which means that at some point in time, price would go back to this trend line. It would return back to this trend line, and then it would start slowly consolidating at this trend line. And remember that this is not the trend line on the 4-hour time frame chart. This is actually a trend line on the higher time frame chart, on the daily time frame chart, and it would take some time for price to break below this level. But we are entering in a range where the volatility is compressed. Always remember this thing. We had this impulsive move towards downside almost like a week ago, when price made a move all the way down to 99,000. So it is natural for price to just continue to consolidate for some time before the next big move happens. So this volatility compression thing, I mean, you can see this whenever there is volatility compression on the charts. In the majority of the cases, there will be a symmetrical triangle information. We know that a descending triangle, if there is a descending triangle information, you would expect the price to break towards downside. If there is an ascending triangle information, which is a bullish continuation pattern, you will expect the price to make a move towards upside. Or whenever there is a symmetrical triangle information, it basically means that it's a neutral pattern and price can just give a break towards upside or downside. It's basically a neutral pattern. So same is the case here. You can see that it's not the perfect example of a symmetrical triangle pattern, but at least it looks like one. You guys can see that we have the descending trend line and then we have the ascending trend line. But since price is sitting close to this descending trend line, and since price is sitting at this support level 9.20 to 9.10 at this moment, so I'm expecting price to give a break towards upside. Once again, we may have a break towards downside as well, but only if we have, first of all, a 4H close below 9.10% level. By the way, I have been planning to take a long position on Bitcoin, but this will only happen once we have a 4H close below 9.10. We have successfully been taking long positions on Bitcoin. The first one was when this deviation happened. The second one was when this deviation retest happened. But remember this thing. For now, price is sitting at 9.20 to 9.1% support level, and because price has proximity to this trend line, to this descending trend line, so as a result of this, you would give more importance to this descending trend line, and the most important part being that this trend line is in formation on the 4-hour time frame chart, not on the daily time frame chart, and price is sitting very close to this level. And with this latest rejection that happened, it's quite clear that in the next few hours, because this is a 4-hour time frame chart that we are looking at, price cannot continue to move in the same range. This is the support, this is a trend line which is acting as a resistance for now. So price has to give a break in either direction. It could be towards upside, it could be towards downside, but chances are that it's going to be a break towards upside. So, but obviously there is this ascending trend line also in formation. I'm not ignoring the importance of this ascending trend line. All I'm trying to say is that, this ascending trend line may not come into play for the next few days. For Bitcoin dominance also, I remember in our Discord server also, people were looking at this trend line and they said that, we are looking for short positions. Sorry, we're looking for long positions on altcoins because Bitcoin dominance has this ascending trend line information, meaning that Bitcoin dominance may give a break towards downside, as a result of which altcoins they will pump. But at that time also, I was clearly mentioning that even though Bitcoin dominance has this massive trend line, ascending trend line information, which is, by the way, a very good thing. It's a really good thing that Bitcoin dominance has this massive ascending trend line information, which basically means that in the next few days or in a week or two, ultimately Bitcoin dominance would break below this trend line, which is going to result in a full-blown altcoin move. I'm not saying an altcoin season or anything, but at least it's going to give you a very similar kind of move which happened towards the start of this year. Back in May, also during the first week of May, during the last few days also. But Bitcoin dominance has to break below this trend line. And once you have a 4H close below this trend line, that is when you would have more clarity as to what exactly is happening with the altcoin market. But right now, if we focus on Bitcoin only, stablecoin dominance, you guys can see that we are very close to having a break above this trend line. Just one 4H close above, and price would just make a move towards 9.48% level. Okay. And please remember this thing. It was mentioned in the morning update also. Please do not attempt to take any long positions right now. The disadvantage here is that with any long positions, that Bitcoin dominance is also sitting at support. Yesterday, the altcoins did not take a large hit, mainly because Bitcoin dominance was sitting at resistance level. And even though Bitcoin dropped a little bit, because Bitcoin dominance was sitting at resistance and Bitcoin dominance continued to move towards downside, as a result of which altcoins, they did not take a large hit. But right now, not only Bitcoin is sitting at resistance indirectly. The reason why I say indirectly is because stablecoin dominance is sitting at this higher time frame support. It has this big descending trendline information, but at the same time, Bitcoin dominance is also sitting at support, as a result of which you can see that even if Bitcoin drops a little bit, altcoins are going to take a large hit. So back to the stablecoin dominance chart, the next resistance for stablecoin dominance is at 9.50 to 9.6% level. So if this trendline breakout happens, you can expect stablecoin dominance to reach this resistance level. I do not really think that stablecoin dominance would break above this resistance immediately, but it can definitely happen. Stablecoin dominance has been constantly moving in an uptrend. We have been seeing this for quite some time, that it continues to make these higher highs and higher lows. There are no signs of slowing down of momentum. I mean, draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave. You can see that the bounce happened at 61.8%, 65% fib level. Even for this move also, if you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, or even from this point as well, you guys can see that the bounce clearly happened at 61.8% fib level. So this has been the danger zone. The last time also, when this bounce happened, we said that there is going to be some risk involved here. Although price may have been sitting at the resistance level, or there are next resistance levels present here, but because stablecoin dominance is constantly moving in an uptrend, I mean, I can zoom out a little bit and you guys can see that this is a clear uptrend information. You had the perfect double bottom here information, and then price started to make these higher highs and higher lows. You can see that impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive, corrective, and then impulsive wave, right? So, all you have to do is just draw the fib level. So last time also, I must warn you here, please pay attention to this. The last time also, price created a very similar kind of move, although there was a large wick, although there was a large liquidation wick. If you guys remember, back on 10th of October, we had this large wick all the way down to 102,000. Even though there was a large sell-off candle, but still stablecoin dominance retraced back down to 61.8% fib level. You guys can see that normally the bounces happen around these levels: 61.8%, 65%, 70.5% fib level. And as a result of which, you guys can see that price not only reclaimed this resistance level, which it had a brief which it had a break below for a brief moment, and then price just continued to move towards upside. So same is the case here. You guys can see that this is your impulse, correct? And then if you would draw the fib levels, you guys can see that although this is not the perfect way of doing it, I do not want to go into the technicalities. I mean, there is a swing failure pattern present, etc. But still, you guys can see that there is a bounce happening at 61.8% fib level, which is a very dangerous thing, which basically tells you that price may just continue to move towards upside and it may just create a new higher high. Okay, the same thing happened around here as well. Price bounced at 61.8% fib level and then it just created a new higher high. So the same thing may happen around here as well, in which price has already bounced at 61.8% fib level. And remember, in the last situation also, price had a move down to, like, if you would draw the fib levels, you can see that price had a move down to 65% fib level, and then it reclaimed the resistance level. Actually, it had a break below the support level, and then it reclaimed this resistance level, gave a retest, and then it made a move towards the upside. So something similar could be happening here also. You guys can see that price had a brief movement of break below this higher time frame support, and now it's just given a bounce at 61.8%, 65% fib level, and now it's reclaiming this higher time frame support at 9.20, 9.10, and then it may just continue to make a move towards upside. So that is why the risk is always there on the weekly time frame chart. In the last live stream also, we discussed in detail that the weekly time frame chart for Bitcoin is definitely not looking in a good shape. I mean, we completely missed out on that move to 107.5k. The move happened during the Asian session 2-3 days ago. I unfortunately missed that move completely. I was planning to go short at 107.5k, 108k, because on the weekly time frame chart, Bitcoin is definitely not looking in a good shape. I mean, once again, I would like to emphasize on the fact that there is this ascending trendline information, but this ascending trendline may not come into play for the next few days or weeks. I mean, price may just continue to move towards upside the very same way as Bitcoin dominance has continued to move towards upside. I mean, Bitcoin dominance may also just continue to move towards upside without giving a break below this ascending trendline. The only thing that these ascending trend lines are telling us is that at some point in time, we are not sure if that's going to happen the next week, the next day, or the next month. They are only telling us that at some point in time in near future, I mean, price cannot forever continue to move above this trend line. It will at some point in time break below this trend line, but we are not sure about the timeline part, because remember that these trend lines are information on the higher time frame. I mean, if I take a look at the chart for stablecoin dominance, with this trend line, I can definitely say that price may just break above this trend line in the next few hours, because we are sitting at support. We have this trend line information. So, we are sitting very close to both of these levels, as a result of which there is already a volatility compression thing happening around here as well. And as a result of which you may see a break towards upside, but you cannot say the same thing about this trend line. Price is quite far away from this trend line. The formation was only confirmed just 2 days ago, and price may just continue to move towards upside. So that is why, please manage your risk properly. Be careful with this. Keep an eye on the stablecoin dominance chart. The only good part in this whole situation was the swing failure pattern. I would say the only hope left in this whole situation is in terms of this swing failure pattern, because of the daily time frame chart, there was a nice swing failure pattern on the stablecoin dominance chart, and we know that whenever there is a swing failure pattern on any of these charts, it basically shows you that the trend is getting exhausted. I mean, in this case, the sellers could be getting exhausted, or you may say that in the terms of Bitcoin, the sellers, they might simply just be getting exhausted. But we do not have a similar kind of swing failure pattern on the Bitcoin chart. I would have been really happy if we had only wicked below this low 98.2k, but unfortunately that did not happen. But at some point in time, remember this thing, I have been saying this for the past, I guess, 1 month or so, that if at some point in time price only gives you a wick below major swing low at 98.2k and manages to close a daily candle above 98.2k, that is going to be a signal to go long. That is going to be a swing failure pattern. That is going to be a bullish swing failure pattern, something very similar to what happened back on 5th of August 2024, where price gave you a wick below the previous major swing low around 52,000, and then the daily close happened at 54,000. There was only a wick below previous major swing low, and then price just continued to rally for the next 1 year or so. So something similar may happen in this situation also. Unfortunately, with the recent of these moves, with the last few moves that we have seen happen on the Bitcoin chart, there was not a swing failure pattern. The swing failure pattern did not happen. There was no wick below 98.2k, but that is going to be the only hope left in this situation. And then on the stablecoin dominance chart, you guys can see that swing failure pattern. Now, this may be a sign that trend is getting exhausted slightly, because stablecoin dominance has been moving in an uptrend for quite some time. Maybe, the sellers, they are losing momentum in this situation, but I don't really think so. I mean, this is not what's happening right now. So on the 4-hour time frame chart, you guys can see that we just had a rejection once again at this trend line. Price is getting rejected at this trend line over and over again. But if we have a 4H close below this level, that is when we would ultimately, start taking a long position. Just a 4-hour close below 9.10% level, that is when I would open a long position on Bitcoin. I believe that it is going to be a 4H close below at least 104.5k. I'm more focused on the Bitcoin chart. Sorry, I'm more focused on the stablecoin dominance chart in comparison to the Bitcoin chart. But anyways, coming back to the Bitcoin chart, one more important thing that you have to keep an eye on the daily time frame chart for Bitcoin, you have a very similar kind of trend line information. Okay, it is basically an equivalent of the ascending trend line on the stablecoin dominance chart. So this trend line I'm talking about, and any major breaks, any major breakouts that we have seen happen on the Bitcoin chart, even if it was a move towards downside, they have mainly happened as a result of these trend lines. So please do not ignore, please do not undermine the importance of these trend lines. This last move, this last big move which happened after those Liberation Day tariffs were announced, you guys can see that it was powered by this descending trend line. So we have a very similar kind of trend line information on the Bitcoin chart. But remember that this is a daily time frame trend line, and only if you have a break above this trend line, something very similar happened in this situation also. You guys can see that we had this descending trend line information, and then on 12th of April, we had this daily close above this descending trend line. That would have been your signal to go long, placing a stop loss slightly below this low, and then you can capitalize on this whole move towards upside. So something similar is happening around here also. This is the only hope left, I would say, in terms of the Bitcoin chart. But price is not close to this trend line. It would take in next few days for price to give a complete daily close above this trend line. The first rejection at this trend line, the second rejection at this trend line, the third rejection at this trend line, the formation of this trend line has been confirmed. And once again, this trend line is basically this descending trend line is basically the ascending trend line. This one I'm talking about on the stablecoin dominance chart. So once you have Bitcoin breaking above this descending trend line, you would have stablecoin dominance breaking below this ascending trend line, and that would be a signal to go long. Because if stablecoin dominance gives a break below this descending trend line, as a result of it, it can easily go back down to 8.3% level, because that is where the next support for stablecoin dominance is. Same is the case with Bitcoin also. If it gives you a move towards, if it gives you a break above, if it gives you a daily break above this descending trend line, as a result of it, it can easily go back up to at least 109,000. And from the weekly time frame chart perspective also, it is definitely going to make sense. 40 plus people are watching this live stream. The participation today is a little bit low, but I would really appreciate if all of you are able to like this live stream. This would really mean a lot to me. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure to like the live stream. So I was saying that from the weekly time frame, from the weekly time frame chart perspective, it would make sense if Bitcoin makes a move towards 108,000, 109,000, $110,000 level, because that is where we are going to open our big short position on Bitcoin. We already have the big short position open on the chart for ETH. You guys can see that people were telling me that why are we not taking profits off this short position. I mean, if you want to do so, if you want to do so, you can do that, but I'm not taking profits off this short position. One thing I would like to clarify here: first of all, we do not have the ideal entry for this short position on Ethereum. The ideal short entry would be if Ethereum makes a move towards 3,800 to 3,900. But since I did not want to miss out on this move, unfortunately, I missed out this whole move from 3,800 all the way down to 3,100, $3,000 level. Now, because I did not want to miss out on this move, so as a result of it, I immediately opened the short position on Ethereum as soon as I saw the weekly candle close below this trend line. Now, if you guys remember, just a few weeks ago when I warned all of you to open short positions on ETH or close any long positions that you have open on ETH. I had a big long position open on ETH. I had a big spot position open on ETH. I exited that spot position publicly. I mentioned on my Twitter also, in all of my Discord channels also. I requested people to exit all of their Ethereum positions, and people were making fun of me in that live stream also. The reason why I was saying at that time to exit all of your spot positions on ETH or exit or close your leverage positions on ETH was because of this massive ascending trend line information. Something very similar to what happened back in 2021 also. You guys can see that the first bounce, the second bounce, the third bounce, and finally we had this weekly candle close, first weekly candle close below this ascending trend line, and as a result of it, Ethereum went, just in a matter of few weeks, Ethereum went from 3,800 all the way down to 2,100, 2,200. And by the way, this is going to be a target for Ethereum. The first most important part, I'm not going to take profits off my position on Ethereum. I would only take profits. I mean, the first take profit target for this position, it's going to be $2,900 to $3,000 level. We are going to do small buying at $3,000 level because a small bounce is expected at this level. I would like to capitalize on this move, but the actual bounce most likely is going to happen at $2,100 level. That is where we are going to do major buying on Ethereum. We have successfully traded Ethereum for the past few months. We bought at 2,900, sold at 3,900, then once again bought at 3,200, sold at 3,900, bought at the breakout of 4,000, sold at 4,700, once again bought at the retest of 4,100, sold at 4,700 once again. So we have been successfully trading Ethereum. I do not want to mess out on this move because Ethereum probably has made me the most amount of money during this whole year, and I would really like to keep an eye on this. The entry for this short position is not ideal. For that reason, we have only entered with the 30% of the intended position size. The rest of 70% we will be adding slowly once Ethereum makes a move towards 13,800 to 13,900, and I would exactly tell you in which situation Ethereum could make a move towards 3,900 to 3,800. But the important part is that if you take a look at this chart on the weekly time frame, you would understand what I'm talking about. It's very important. We still have 3 days and 9 hours for this weekly candle to close, but on the weekly time frame chart, the situation is not looking good. The situation is looking really situation is looking really bearish here. The same thing I said when Ethereum was trading somewhere around here. Where there is a trend line, there is always going to be a breakout. Now, it wouldn't really matter even if Ethereum makes a move towards 4,000, 3,900. That is going to be the first retest on the weekly time frame chart. Something very similar I'm expecting on the Bitcoin chart also. I know that people are going to get crazy, people are going to get very happy, people are going to get extremely bullish as soon as Bitcoin makes a move towards 108,000 to 112,000, but that is going to be your final chance to enter into this big short position. Same is the case with Ethereum also. I warned you a few weeks ago. At that time also, I was saying that just one close below this level, just one close below this line at 3,820, and you should be going short. But the move happened. We were not able to catch this move because the move happened at the start of the week. But you still have time. You can still start adding into this short position. You can still start going with this short position, and you can just continue to add into this short position, because once again, the situation with ETH is not looking good. It has already, I mean, if you would take a look at it on the weekly time frame chart, your entry is not really going to matter. Trust me with this. On the weekly time frame chart, even if ETH makes a small move towards 3,700, 3,800, it's a very small drawdown. And trust me with this, it's not really going to matter. But at least you would be able to catch one big short position for this market, for this next winter, which is coming, which is going to be a really cold one, for most people. And that is why I'm saying that, do not forget to open this short position. Start adding into this short position slowly from 3,600. If it makes a move towards 3,900, 4,000, that is going to be the first retest on the chart for ETH on the weekly time frame, and that would be a signal to add more because we know that the first retest is always your single best opportunity to open a long or a short position. And remember that this is not the 4 hour time frame chart, this is not the hourly time frame chart, this is not the daily time frame chart, this is the weekly time frame chart. The higher the time frame you go, more accurate these things become, and we are paying attention to the weekly time frame chart. Same is the case with Bitcoin also. People are more focused on the 4 hour time frame, people are more focused on the daily time frame chart. They're completely missing out on the bigger picture. Something very similar happened back in 2021 also. You guys can see that, price first made a move towards 2900, 3000, gave a small bounce towards 3400. People once again got excited, but ultimately it made another large move towards 2100. Once again a big recovery happened towards 3000, but that was just the formation of lower lows and lower highs. You guys can see that this is the formation of lower lows and lower highs. You have impulsive wave once price starts making these lower lows and lower highs. And I don't know how many of you actually remember this thing, but I was mapping the market structure in one of my mentorship lectures also, and we were surprised to see, almost I guess back in the month of September, on the 4 hour time frame chart, on the daily time frame chart, we were surprised to see that the change of character on the chart for ETH had happened long ago. A lot many people actually missed out on this big picture, but this was the day when Ethereum gave you a change of character back on 25th of September. If you have any know-how, if you have any knowledge about the market structure, you guys can clearly see that this was the last break of structure on the chart for ETH, last bullish break of structure on the chart for ETH, and as soon as it gave you a daily close below this low back on 25th of September, that was the day when Ethereum gave you a change of character. And ever since that day, remember that when the change of characters happen, the formation completely turns upside down. Price will be moving in an uptrend. Okay, you have break of structures happening, and as soon as you have a change of character which is going to look something like this, the formation is going to change automatically, and any upside moves are going to an opportunity for you to take short positions. And people will be getting excited at these upside moves. They will be thinking of these upside moves as price making a recovery or maybe a reversal happening, but the reality is an altogether different one. And I warned you guys just a few days ago as well that for the chart for ETH, if you would start mapping the market structure, please pay attention to this. If you would start mapping the market structure on the chart for ETH, and by the way, same is the case with Bitcoin. The only difference is that Bitcoin has not given you a change of character. But same is the case with Bitcoin also. Once the change of character happens on the chart for Bitcoin or ETH, it really matters a lot. It is an important thing. If we just keep our focus on the chart for Ethereum, you would realize that whenever the change of characters, whenever the market structure shifts, whenever a reversal, in the simplest possible words, for those of you who are beginners who have no knowledge about any of these terms, remember that whenever a reversal in terms of market structure, which is considered one of the most important things, whenever a reversal happens in terms of market structure on the chart for ETH, it has almost always taken the price at least $1,500 to $2,000 up or down. The last time the change of character, the bullish change of character happened around $1,800 to $2,000. As a result of it, price went all the way up to $4,700. And before that, we had the change of character happening at $3,500, as a result of which price went all the way down to $1,300. And you have many different examples of this happening over and over again. And I'm telling you that on the daily time frame chart for ETH, the change of character happened back on 25th of September, and as a result of which you guys can see that this is the formation that you are seeing. You have impulse, corrective wave, an impulse, a correction, and then impulse. And as soon as a change of character happened, you have impulse, correction, impulse, and correction. So basically, lower lows and lower highs have started forming, and all you have to do is just draw the fib levels. You guys can see this for yourself. If you would draw the fib level, start of impulse to the end of impulse, you have correction up to 65%, 70.5%. Once again, if you would draw the fib level, start of impulse to the end of impulse, you guys can see that you have a correction happening all the way up to 65%, 61.8%. Once again, if you would draw the fib levels from the start of impulse to the end of impulse, the correction may happen all the way up to 3,800 to 3,900, basically 61.5%, 61.8% to 65% fib level, which matches perfectly with this weekly time frame resistance level. That is why I'm saying that I'm not sure Ethereum can easily make a move towards 3,800, 3,900. But if you would take a look at the bigger picture, if you would take a look at the things, at a larger scale on the weekly time frame chart, you would realize that none of this is really going to matter. Once Ethereum makes a move towards 2,100, you wouldn't really be thinking about if your entry was 3,600 or 3,700 or 3,800. And remember that we have only entered with a 30% allocation on this short entry. Once Ethereum makes a move towards 3,800, 3,900, we are going to add the rest of 70% of our intended position size also. And once again, this is going to be our big short position for Ethereum. If I show you the chart for Bitcoin also, something very similar is happening on the Bitcoin chart. And by the way, I would be showing you the chart for total 2 as well and for total as well. And I would explain to you why there can actually be a move towards 108,000 to 110,000. I mean, if you take a look at the chart for stablecoin dominance, it definitely makes sense because stablecoin dominance has got this massive ascending trendline in formation, which means that at some point in time, it may break towards downside, as a result of which Bitcoin may make a move towards 108,000 to 110,000. Unfortunately, once again, we completely missed out on this move, which happened out towards 107.5k. And I can show you that on the chart for Bitcoin also, in the context of Bitcoin also, because Bitcoin has been constantly making these lower lows and lower highs. All you have to do is just draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, and you can see that this was the move that we actually missed. A move towards 61.8%, 65% fib level. Whenever price is making these lower lows and lower highs, this is what you have to do. You have to take the fib levels out. You have to take the fib retracement tool out. You have to draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, and then you have to start taking longer shots at the 65% or 70.5% fib level. So this is what exactly happened. Unfortunately, you can see that on the 4-hour time frame chart, this move happened during the middle of the night. I was sleeping at that time. I completely missed out on this move. I was not planning to place any limit order, but I was definitely planning to enter into a short position. But because we have this descending trendline information on the daily time frame chart, so that is why I believe that at some point in time, maybe if we are lucky, we may have a move towards 108,000 to 110,000. But the bigger picture that I'm trying to show you guys is the weekly time frame picture. On the weekly time frame chart, you guys can see that this is a very important level. I mean, if I show you the weekly time frame level, which is around 88,000, 89,000, you guys can see that back on 3rd of March, the week which started on 3rd of March, you guys can see that we had the weekly candle close below this level, as a result of which price already lost this level, as a result of which you will expect the price to make a move towards upside and get rejected at this weekly time frame resistance level. So remember this thing, something very similar happened around here. Even if it was a small move, I'm not saying that price will go up to 108,000, 110,000 and then it will go back down to 50,000. All I'm saying is that it is going to be a big shorting opportunity, if not 70, even if not 50,000, even if not 74, 75,000, you would at least be able to catch a move towards this level, which is 88,000, 89,000, because remember that this support has not been retested before. This is going to be the first retest of this support, and mind you, we're talking about the weekly time frame charts. Whenever the first retest on the weekly time frame charts happens, it's going to be a perfect long opportunity or perfect shorting opportunity. So in this situation also, if not 74,000, even if not 50,000, we will at least be able to catch a move towards 90,000. Even if not, I'm not saying that we may have a move towards $1,300 or $800 Ethereum. I'm not saying that it's going to be the end of the bull market, because that is not my field of study. This is not what this is not exactly what my expertise is in. I cannot really say that Bitcoin is going to make a move towards $500,000. I'm not JP Morgan. I'm not someone making these predictions. I'm not saying that Bitcoin will make a move towards $25,000. I'm not saying that it will make a move towards $74,000. I am actually more concerned about this next higher time frame support on the weekly time frame chart, which has not been retested before, which is present at 90,000, 88,000. So please take this very lightly. Please pay attention to this very carefully. This is not a signal of a bear market. All I'm trying to tell you is that price has already lost this higher time frame support on the weekly time frame chart at 108,000 to 112,000. You can see that we have a weekly time frame close below this level. I had a much more clear chart. Yeah. So you guys can see that we already have lost this level. And on the weekly time frame chart also, this is the most important part. On the weekly time frame chart also, no matter how you would draw this trend line, I mean, even if you would draw the trend line like this, you guys can see that small bounces are happening at this trend line. If you would draw the trend line, if you would slightly adjust the positioning of this trend line, we have a very similar kind of trend line on the chart for Bitcoin as we have on the chart for ETH. The first bounce, the second bounce, the third bounce, the fourth bounce, the fifth bounce, a few other smaller bounces. And you guys can see that we are slowly breaking towards downside. You know, just as Ethereum has not given a retest at 3,800, 3,900, and it can, same is the case with Bitcoin also, even though Bitcoin has already lost this level. On the weekly time frame chart, you can see that the week which started back on 3rd of November, the weekly candle close was at 103,000, 103.7k. As a result of it, we have already lost this level on the weekly time frame chart, and any retest that we get towards this level, towards 110,000, 108,000 level, 108.5k, that is precisely going to be our first entry point. Then we would add into this position slowly. This is going to be a stop loss slightly above this level. We would continue to add into this position, and our actual target is going to be at least around 74,000. We will take profits. We will close the 50% of this position around 88,000 to 89,000. So the reason why I'm showing you this chart is to explain to you that on the weekly time frame chart, it is looking extremely simple. I mean, with Ethereum, we were able to enter at 3,600, which was the top for this small move, which was the top for this small retracement which happened. I mean, it can definitely make a move towards 3,700, 3,800, but with Bitcoin, we were not able to catch the move at 107.5k. But the important part is that on the weekly time frame chart, price has already lost all of these levels, and as a result of it, in my personal opinion, it should at least go back down to 88,000, 89,000, because that is where the next weekly time frame support is. You guys can see that in the middle of these levels, in the middle of 108.5k to 112k and 88,000, there is no definitive support present. One small support present at 98k, but apart from that, it's not really an actual weekly time frame support. I mean, if I would try to draw a support around here, you guys can see that there is no actual support here on the weekly time frame chart. At least on the daily time frame chart, there is definitely one support present at 98,000, but on the weekly time frame chart, there is no support present in 98.5k. The only level, the closest possible level, from 108,000 is this level at 88k. So once this rejection happens, this is going to be our first target. Same is the case with Ethereum. The first target is going to be 3,000. Then the next target is going to be 2,100. And we'll see if Bitcoin makes a move towards 74,000, only then Ethereum would make a move towards 2,100. I'm not sure about that part, but at least I'm sure about the part that it will make a move towards 88,000, 89,000. And now coming back to the most important part, why do I believe that there can still be a move towards these levels? Why can there still be a move towards 3,900 to 3,800 or 108,000 to 112,000? The reason is because, first of all, this, on the weekly time frame charts, we have already lost these levels. Okay, there is absolutely no doubt in this part, but the retest has not happened. Now there is no obligation for price to go back down, go back up and retest these levels. I mean, even if we take the example of this level, price had a break above this level back on 21st of April. Then it's been almost 6 months, more than 6 months, that price has not given the retest at this level. So it's not necessary that price would immediately turn back and give a retest at these levels. It may give the retest or it may not. But if this retest happens, this is the weekly retest. Please do not miss this. Mark these words, write down these words. You can always go back to this, live stream, reference these words to me over and over again. I would be, more than happy, if you would remind me that this is a live stream in which you said that Bitcoin is going to make a move towards 92,000, 89,000, because on the weekly time frame chart, price has already lost these levels. But the important part is that the reason why I believe there can still be a move towards upside is, first of all, that this level has not been retested, which means that ideally speaking, price can go back up and retest this level, and it's going to be a successful one. Second important part is that if you would slightly adjust the positioning of this trend line, then you would realize that the first bounce, the second bounce, the third bounce, and there can be a few small bounces happening around here. I mean, I also have the doodle drawn. So a few small bounces happening around here maybe, and then we would get a push towards 109,000, 110,000, and then ultimately a break below this trend line, because we know that there will be no space left in this region. Price cannot forever continue to move in this range, even though we are looking at the weekly time frame chart. So on the weekly time frame, it's not really going to happen immediately. I mean, price can just continue to move in this range at least till the end of this year, at least till the end of maybe January or towards the mid of January. But the important part is that ultimately price would have to make some decision. Price would either have to break above this level, or price would either have to break below this level. And I would say 90% chances are that it will ultimately break below this trend line, because there is a trend line information. So the first retest part, the trend line part, which is telling you that there can be a bounce towards this level. And then on the stablecoin dominance chart, because there is this big ascending trend line information, so price at some point in time may break below, sending Bitcoin towards, sending stablecoin dominance down to 8.4% level, and sending Bitcoin towards 108,000 to 111,000, $112,000 level. And because this level has not been retested before, there was a small deviation below this support level, and this level has not been retested before, as a result of which I believe that whenever stablecoin dominance goes back down to 8.4% level, meaning that whenever Bitcoin goes back up to $108,000 to $112,000 level, that is going to be a very good shorting opportunity. I literally am telling you from all of these different charts, the very same perspective you are getting from all of these charts, that it's going to be, I would say, once in a lifetime opportunity for you to catch this big shot. Even if Bitcoin makes it move towards 114,000, 116,000, we are still going to slowly add into that short position. But the range is going to start from 108.5K. And I do not really think that it will make a move towards 114,000. Even if it makes a move, even if price makes a move on the weekly time frame chart, it's not going to look very significant for as long as on the weekly time frame chart we stay below this range. Another important reason why I believe that Bitcoin can still make a move towards upside, and this is for all of you who are maybe stuck in any long positions on BTC, is because of this descending trend line. Now, there is no obligation for price to break above this descending trend line immediately, but at least there is some hope left. At least there is a small outside chance that price cannot forever continue to move in this range. It will either have to break below this level, or it will have to break above this level. And I believe that there can still be, at least I'm hopeful that, this is the hopeful part. I'm not saying that price will actually make a move. I'm hoping that price makes a move towards 108,000 to 112,000, because I would really like to enter into this big short position. On the chart for total, you guys really already know that the chart for total, you guys already know this part, that because total contains Bitcoin's dominance also, so a large part of total's price action is being influenced by Bitcoin. So I was constantly pointing out this thing, that total is sitting under this resistance level, total 2 is sitting under this resistance level. As a result, we opened a short position on ETH. We opened a short position on ETH when total 2 was trading somewhere around here. We did not open a short position on Bitcoin, but total is also sitting at resistance. So it's not going to be an easy going for Bitcoin, going forward, because it's sitting under some major resistance levels. And remember that on the stablecoin dominance, you have this descending trend line information. And this descending trend line, please pay attention to these words very carefully. They are really, really going to help you. This descending trend line is telling you that if it makes a move towards upside, Bitcoin is going to break below $100,000 level. Okay, Bitcoin would at least go back down to 98,000. At the same time, you have the total chart, which is a positively correlated chart with Bitcoin. It has also got this ascending trend line information. So if total breaks below this ascending trend line, Bitcoin would obviously make a move towards 98K. So you see how all of these charts are interconnected with each other. Stablecoin dominance, a descending trend line, it can make a move towards upside, as a result of which Bitcoin will make a move towards downside once you have a 4H close above this trend line. Total's price action, we know that it is heavily influenced by Bitcoin, but at the same time, you guys can see that it has this ascending trend line information. as soon as it breaks below this ascending trend line, we know that Bitcoin will make a move towards 98k. So the very same picture we are getting from total chart as well. But the good part is that, or the optimistic part is that, or the hopeful part is that, at least just as stablecoin dominance has got this massive ascending trend line, break below this trend line, Bitcoin will pump towards 108,000. Same is the case with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has this descending trend line, break above, it can make a move towards 110,000. And finally, same is the case with Total as well. It has this descending trend line. We know that it's positive correlation. If it breaks above, Bitcoin can definitely make a move towards 108,000 to 112,000. And finally, same is the case with Total 2 as well. If you would like to draw a chart, if you would like to draw trend line in the chart for Total, you guys can see that the first rejection, the second rejection, the third rejection, the trend line formation has been confirmed on the chart for Total as well. So if Total makes a move towards upside, meaning that Ethereum would break out and it will move from 3400 up to at least 3800, 3900, which is going to be, in my personal opinion, final opportunity for you to enter into this short position once we have a new lower low. The retracement waves in a bearish trend, in a downside move, or in a lower low, lower high formation are for shorting, are not exactly the reversal. Please remember this thing. And the downside move has only started happening. The reversal is only starting to, the bearish wave formation has only started happening. So please do not miss out on these opportunities. And finally, Bitcoin dominance. I've already explained this part. It's sitting at support. So avoid taking any long positions for today, because remember that Bitcoin is facing significant rejection. Reason because stablecoin dominance is sitting at support on the 4-hour time frame chart, and chances are that it will give a break towards upside because it's sitting very close to this descending trend line. And Bitcoin dominance, it's also sitting at support. So unless it reaches this resistance level, maybe the next few hours, you should avoid taking any long positions for now, because Bitcoin dominance is looking bullish. And we know that if Bitcoin dominance is looking bullish, as a result of it, Bitcoin can easily make, altcoins, they can easily have a move towards downside. So this is all from my side in terms of the update part. If you guys have any specific questions, please make sure to ask in the chat box. And once again, I would really like to request all of you to please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please make sure to like this live stream. I really try my best to give the most honest opinion about the charts, to give the best possible outlook about the market situation, to go into as much details as possible, to give you the the complete picture. And yeah, I would really appreciate if all of you are able to just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please make sure to like the live stream also. uh, so the first question: sir, we had a 4H close below support on Wednesday 12 a.m, but we blew past the resistance with no bounce. Why? Okay, so you're talking about the stablecoin dominance chart. So you are saying that on the stablecoin dominance chart, we had a break below this level. Okay, completely agree with this thing. But something very similar has happened in the previous situations also. The risk was always going to be there. I would explain to you why. We had a break below this level, then we came back up, we had the small rejection. Remember that as a result of this break, Bitcoin made a move towards, try to understand the complete picture, try to understand the complete story. Bitcoin had a move towards upside. Okay, we were long at that day. We unfortunately missed the complete move, but we were long on that day. Bitcoin made a move towards 100 to 107.5k. Why exactly that happened? Because stablecoin dominance had a break below this higher time frame support level. Then then stablecoin dominance came back up, and then the first rejection happened, and this was not a big rejection. It was just a small rejection, right? It was just a small rejection. And the reason why price was not able to sustain this move is first because of this trend line. Remember that this trend line is started to getting formed. Okay. And the second most important part, if you would draw the Fib levels, you guys can see that price perfectly bounced at 61.8%, 65% Fib level. Something very similar happened in this situation also. I mean, you can present the same argument that price had already lost the support level, then it came back up, it gave a very small rejection, very small first retest, even though first retest was successful one, but it gave a very small first retest, and then it quickly came back up. So something similar happened here. Price had a break below this level, the breakout was good, then came back up, very small rejection happened, and finally it once again reclaimed this level, which is the risky part. But remember that we have both kind of trend lines in formation, so anything could happen. in the next few hours, you would have to wait a little bit, and chances are that it will make a move towards upside. Govind is asking, do you believe 𝗖𝗍𝑠 will come to 0.08187? My entry was slightly higher than your. Okay, so Govind, I clearly mentioned, yes, it can make a move towards the upside. It's not looking in a bad shape. You guys can see that it has literally been consolidating at the same levels. So it can definitely make a move towards upside. You don't really have to be worried about 𝗖𝗍𝑥. But we closed this position break even this morning. You can see that, and I mentioned in my update yesterday that you have to make sure that this is your entry point, 0.08138, because remember that what happens in these kind of situations is when we move the stop loss, when we move the take profit target to entry to close a trade at break even, all the people do the same thing, and as a result of it, price may not break past this level immediately. But now I believe that the majority of the people, they would have already closed their positions, as a result of which 𝗖𝗍𝑥 can definitely make a small move towards upside. You don't really have to be worried about it. It's not looking that bad. It's not looking that bad. I mean, in comparison to the rest of the market, it still is looking good. Oh, okay. Another important part on the 4-hour time frame chart for Ethereum, you guys can see that there is a small ascending trend line information. So Ethereum can also break towards downside. Ethereum can also make a move towards downside. Something very similar you would find out on the total 2 chart as well. This is the chart for total 2. You guys can see that it has this, I mean, not exactly, but it has a small, sending trend line information. So once total 2 breaks below, Ethereum can also make a move towards $3,200, $3,000 level. 𝗬𝗍, please, 𝗟𝘍𝗀. Okay, so 𝗬𝗍 is once again back below resistance level. This coin has been literally on my nerves, for the past few months, because I did invest into this coin, but once again it failed to hold above this level, a very small bounce, and now it's once again below this resistance level. So the point of view about 𝗬𝗍 is very simple. For as long as it is sitting below this resistance level, nothing really is going to happen. But I was waiting for the market structure part also. I'll be honest with you, market structure has not shifted on 𝗬𝗍. Nothing really has shifted on 𝗬𝗍. It should have given a daily close above this level. It should have given a daily close above this high at 0.04274, because it only wicked above this high. So although we cannot short 𝗬𝗍, but it was once again a swing failure pattern, as a result of which you can see that 𝗬𝗍 continued to go down. But the way it's consolidating at this resistance, it can actually, if the overall market recovers, if the scenario that we discussed happens, I mean, Bitcoin dominance breaks below the ascending trend line, 𝗬𝗍 can also break above. It can also make a move towards upside. But for now, you can see that it's literally sitting close to this resistance, but it is resistance. This is the important part. At what point does crypto exit bull season? Jacob, what do you mean by that? At what point does crypto exit bull season? um I'm not sure if I understand your question. Can you please just try to rephrase it? Alt season not gonna happen this cycle, 𝗟𝘍𝗀. uh Difficult question. I believe that, and okay, I would give you the most honest opinion. uh the coin Zcash, a privacy coin, went up almost 1300% just in a matter of 1 or 2 months. So anyone telling you that these coins, they are not going to pump or it's not possible, show them the chart for Zcash or a few other charts that they can definitely pump. Okay. If there is going to be an altcoin season, I'm not sure about, I would say less than 30% chance that there is going to be an altcoin season. But if there is an altcoin season, then these coins can definitely give you a pump. Just because these coins are down almost 99%, 90% from their all-time highs, that doesn't mean that they cannot recover this whole move. Show them the example for Zcash. Zcash was down almost 90% from its all-time high from the previous cycle. Still, it made a move of almost 1300%, even going 2x above its previous all-time high. So these coins can definitely recover from the spot that they are in, from the situation that they are in. But not all of these coins are going to pump during this cycle. This is definitely the case. This is for sure that not all of these coins are going to pump. Not every single shitcoin is going to pump. Only the coins that have some real use case, that have some solid narrative, that has some solid backing, only these coins are going to make a move. Another important perspective is that, just because you invested into some of these shit coins, and you have been continuing to wait for this altcoin season, and just because the portfolio is going down, just because the price action for this altcoin is based on lower lows and lower highs, that does not mean, or that did not mean that we did not have an altcoin season, or that we did not have a bull market. We have been in the bull market for the past 2 years. Ethereum made a move towards from 800 all the way up to 4900. Bitcoin made a move from 28,000 all the way up to 126,000. So we have been in the bull market for the past 2 years. Look at the chart for gold, look at the chart for S&P 500, look at the chart for Nasdaq, look at the chart for NQ, look at the chart for Bitcoin, look at the chart for Ethereum. We have been in the bull market for the past 2 years. This is definitely the reality. But the important part is that less than 30% chance that there is going to be a altcoin season. The reason why I say this is because if you look at the stock market, the cracks have already started to show in the stock market. Although stock market is it's just continuing to create one all-time high after the other. But the important part is that the cracks have also already started to show. People have already started to talk about the AI bubble. Things are not looking good even in the stock market. Also, there are more and more intelligent voices talking about the AI bubble. The capital expenditures is at all-time high. These companies, these big tech giants, they are investing blindly into these big AI companies. They're investing into one another, and as a result of which the coins are going up. I mean, I was mentioning this in some of the other live streams also, that if you look at the capital expenditures, if you look at the reasons why most of these tech stocks are up, is because of these partnership events, because of the news related to some partnership. So Nvidia decided to invest into OpenAI, as a result of which the valuation of OpenAI went up, as a result of which Nvidia, the price for the stock of Nvidia went up. But nobody's realizing the fact that OpenAI is using the chips from Nvidia. Nvidia is selling its chip to OpenAI. Microsoft announced a partnership with OpenAI, or Microsoft announced a partnership with Nvidia, but nobody's realizing that Nvidia is providing chips to Microsoft. Microsoft is getting chips from Nvidia, or Microsoft is investing into Nvidia. All these partnerships are happening in between these big tech companies. Nothing really new is happening. And if you look at the valuations of these companies, I mean, if you just look at the valuation for OpenAI, their profit margin is literally at $14 billion, and their valuation is at 400 or $500 billion, almost 40 times more than the profit margin of the company. This literally tells you that the cracks have already started to show in the stock market. And as I said, people like Jamie Dimon, people like from these big banks, from these big companies, they have already started to talk about an AI bubble. Even just a few days ago, Bill Gates also said that the AI bubble, there is definitely AI bubble in the stock market, and we know that. And he said that it's very similar to the dot-com bubble, and we know that back in 2000 also, when there was this dot-com bubble, when the stock market started crashing, only less than 30% of the companies survived. And all I'm saying is that Bitcoin is nothing but simply just a big tech stock, not even a big tech stock. It's just a medium, you can say, not exactly a small tech stock, but a medium, valuation, tech stock. And if the overall stock market goes down, and we know that if you look at the stock market, 35% of the capital is centered in these big seven companies, like Meta, like Alphabet, like Nvidia, like Tesla. So 35% of the capital is centered in these big tech companies, in seven tech companies, the Magnificent Seven. So if something happens in terms of this AI bubble thing, if there is actually an AI bubble in the stock market, and if stock market starts crashing, we all know that Bitcoin is nothing but simply just a tech stock. In other words, as a result of which, Bitcoin will definitely go down. And this is the most likely scenario that I'm imagining for the next few months, that the stock market is going to crash. I mean, even if you look at the chart for ES, you would notice that there is this massive ascending trend line in formation. Price has been continuing to trade above this ascending trend line. We are just having small bounces at this ascending trend line. So I believe that there is at least a I would say 15% to 20% correction definitely possible. Almost a move down to 6,000 level. So at least a 10 to 15% correction. I wouldn't really say that it's going to be a crash. All I'm saying is that there is going to be at least a 10 to 15% correction, and a 10 to 15% correction in stock market basically would mean that there is going to be at least a 30 to 50% drop in the price for Bitcoin. and 10 to 15% correction in the stock market is actually not a normal thing. Dr. Prophet was right then, Sherlock. Yeah, I I have I mean that guy has not always been right. I mean, he has changed his statement over and over again. I remember that, he used to tell people to buy Bitcoin around 65,000 when it made a move towards 49,000. I remember he had a big post that someone shared with me, and just a few days ago someone shared this with me. I would show you my inbox. You guys can see that the people in his group, or people, the moderators in his group, they are literally stealing the signals. This is the guy, you know he just sent me the screenshot. You guys can see that the moderators in his group, they are literally stealing signals from these other big communities and big servers. Dr. Prophet also over and over again has been accused of doing so. He has changed his statements over and over again. I still remember the day when I myself saw that tweet on 5th of August 2024, when Bank of Japan decided to increase the interest rates, as a result of which Bitcoin made the move from 56,000 to 49,000. And Dr. Prophet wrote a, I guess, three page long post in which he said that the bull market is done. It's the start of the bear market. It's the start of the recession. Everything is done. We are going to open short positions, sell everything, and this and that. And then we all know that it was basically the bottom for Bitcoin. So the guy has changed his statement over and over again. But yeah, he has been calling for a bear market. I'm not exactly going to pay attention to anyone else. All I'm trying to say is that the cracks have already started to appear in the stock market, as a result of which I believe that stock market will crash in near future, and Bitcoin will definitely do the same thing. And meanwhile, we're talking about this crash thing. Stablecoin dominance appears to be breaking above this ascending trend line. Remember this thing I mentioned at the very start of the live stream? Stablecoin dominance has got a massive descending trend line, and at the same time it has got this it is also sitting at support. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at support. You have to be careful with any long positions. And remember that we have this Ethereum short position open, which is playing out beautifully so far. 3600 was an entry point. I'm not going to take profits off this short position, only going to take profit once we have a move down to 2900. How much of our portfolio should be in position into each short if price reaches 38 and 3900? That's completely on you, Nicholas. That's big short position for me. I have invested a considerable amount into it, but only 30% of allocation has been done so far. 3600 was not the ideal entry point for me, as a result of which I only entered with a 30% of the intended position size. I kept the 70% of the position size safe, and if we are lucky, maybe Ethereum will make another move towards 3700, 3800, 3900, and then we will add more into a short position. I want to be as honest as I can with you guys. Only 30% of allocation has been done into this Ethereum short position, but I keep saying that this is once in a lifetime opportunity. Please do not miss it. Please do not miss the opportunity to short Bitcoin at 108,000 to 112,000. We completely missed the 107.5k move, but Ethereum, I already gave you that short position in my channel, also on my Twitter account as well. And our first TP for this short is going to be at 3,000, and you guys will see in the next few days once Ethereum makes a move down to 3,000. I mean, that has already happened. The last time when we were talking about ETH, it was trading at 4,200. I told people to exit it. Then it made a move down to 3,000. Most of the predictions have already been true, but I'm saying that it can definitely make a move towards 3,000, 2,900, because that is where the next support is. Technospace is asking, can I short now? No, you cannot do that, because you would be just shorting in the middle of nowhere. Be patient. You are only feeling that fear of missing out because you are looking at the 4-hour time frame chart. Look at the bigger picture. It can make a move towards 3,600, 3,700 very easily, even 3,900, 4,000 also. What about eSport USDT? I have been planning to take a long position on eSport. Unfortunately, we missed that move, because it pumped at that 78.6% fib level. A lot many times prices, for most of these coins, prices will give a move. You can see that this was supposed to be my entry point. Stop loss below this level, and I was planning to take this long position. but it just pumped at the 78.6% fib level. We all know the importance of 78.6. Remember that if you ever want the safest possible entry using the fib levels, you should not use 61.8, 65%, 70.5%. You should always use 78.6% and then place your stop loss in between 88.6%, in the middle of 88.6% and 99.9%. This will always give you the best possible risk to reward ratio. And you would see that very often price would actually give a bounce at 78.6%. I don't even know about this coin. I mean, I don't even know what's happening with this coin. At what point does crypto exit bull season? Jacob, I still do not understand your question. Can I short now? No. How to understand fib levels better? Um, there are plenty of YouTube videos available also. In my mentorship also, I have a complete module on this. We are going to start that module from the next week. And by the way, we are opening slots for mentorship also. Almost 300 plus people have already joined this mentorship program. We have already recorded 70 plus 1 hour videos, almost 70 plus hours of training, and we will give 300 plus hours of training during this cycle. And it's literally once in a lifetime opportunity. We provide all the lectures happen live every single week on Thursday, on Friday, and you can interact in those sessions, one-on-one sessions. You can ask questions during those sessions. Every single lecture is recorded, edited, and then uploaded on the student portal in the on the Foxians website. So yeah, you guys are more than welcome to join the mentorship program. Also, you can find the link of the Discord server in the description of this video. Join the Discord server using that link, open the support ticket, ask for the mentorship discount, and we will give you that discount specifically for people who are watching this live stream. But yeah, you guys invest so much into these random things. You guys can invest something into the mentorship program also, and it definitely provides value. I mean, do not believe what I'm saying. You guys can ask anyone who is in the mentorship program. I'm sure that 99.9% of people would say that there is definitely some value in that mentorship program, because the content being explained in the program itself is really, really much better than the 90% of the content available out there. Everything that I'm talking about is explained in detail, even for the smallest possible concepts, even for the simplest possible concepts. I try to break down these concepts by absolute logic in at least 4 to 5 hours of recorded lectures. That's how much attention we pay to these simple concepts. How are you, G? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Technospace is asking, Bhai, when can I safely long or scalp Bitcoin? If you're asking about, then have you may not really want to do that. It's because BTC probably would be just breaking below this level, breaking below this ascending trend line. Same is the case with stablecoin dominance. It may very well be just breaking above this descending trend line. Nico is saying, "Hey Sherlock, I hope you're doing. I hope you are good. I wanted to ask, how old are you, and from how many years you're actually living of trading and not 9 to 5. I have never done 9 to 5, to be honest, Nico, and I'm 25 years old. I have been trading for the past 7 to 8, I would say 8 years almost, and I started trading back when I was in college. So I've never really been doing 8 to 5, you know. I have always been, I would say, I have been lucky in this regard that I have been living independently. And I have never ever done a single paying job or single paid job ever in my life. Never ever done that. Not even for a single dollar, apart from the trading thing and providing my analysis and all that. I have never ever done that. Imran Khan is saying, I'm one of the student, please do check out his mentorship, believe me, your life will change. Thank you so much, Imran. Yeah, there is definitely some value in the mentorship program. Ken is asking, stable.c.d is trying to break above at 4H. Yes, this is exactly what I said at the very start of this live stream. Stablecoin dominance is breaking above. Please, be careful with any long positions, because stablecoin dominance is making a move towards upside. Technospace is asking, no, I meant all altcoins. Okay, that's a good question. When can you actually start taking long positions? Once stablecoin dominance reaches this resistance level 9.50, okay, and once Bitcoin dominance reaches this resistance level. But remember that at the same time, stablecoin dominance also may very well have another trendline information. Not exactly a very good formation, but it may also have a small descending trendline information, meaning that Bitcoin dominance may also break towards upside. Govind is saying, I'm part of the mentorship program. It's been incredibly helpful. The combination of the mentorship sessions and Sherlock's daily updates has really boosted my learning and progress. Govind, I really appreciate that. As I said, everyone who is in the mentorship would actually say the very same thing, would have very same opinion. It's not about the fact that like, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, but at least in the mentorship program, I feel myself that, we are providing some value. Forget about all the perks and everything, like the resources and everything, the community, the small community of people and everything. The knowledge is, in my opinion, the key part, the most important part. For the one lifetime fee, you're literally getting access to everything for lifetime, all of these recorded lectures and everything. So even if at some point in time, over the next few years, you decide to, like, go back to these lectures, you can do that. All of the concepts, they would remain the same: support, resistance, trend lines, chart patterns. And we are trying our best to record videos even on the smallest possible, simplest possible topics as simple as how to use TradingView, how to use these tools on TradingView, how to create these watch lists, how to draw the support and resistance levels, how to draw the trend lines. And most of the information given is not, the kind of information that you would find in these YouTube videos. The information is based on the facts that I have experienced myself, things that I have experienced myself, trading these markets for the past 7 to 8 years. Bro, any thoughts on Algo, Wu, and XPL? We have a spot position open on Algo, by the way. Algo surprisingly is one of the positive coins, but this is a spot position. So yeah, make sure to just keep it open for some time. This is a spot position open on Algo. We have a few other spot positions also open. Slowly, all of these spot positions have been going up. Let's take a look at the chart for Algo, Wu as well. It's been a long time since I looked at this chart. Okay, so last time I looked at this chart, you can see that I was taking this short position. So yeah, it has been constantly making these lower lows, lower highs. I would suggest that set an alert around here. Only if it reclaims this level, you should be taking a long position. Apart from that, honestly, nothing much can be done about it. Price has been constantly making these lower lows and lower highs. It has this descending trend line also in formation, but it will not come into play. And the important part is that price gives a break above this level. Price gives a break above this level. And the surprising part is that during this last pump that we saw over the last few days, the pump that we saw in the few altcoin, in most of the altcoins, I would say, Wu surprisingly has not recovered. This coin has not recovered. It did not break above resistance. Most of these other coins, they actually recovered above resistance levels, but this one has not done that. ETH is dumping. Well, we hope so. We hope it continues to dump because our target is 3,000, at least 3,000. Look at ETH, bro. I think stable.c.d. Yes, stable.c.d might just be breaking out. Yeah, but you would need the 4H close above 10 minutes and 13 seconds for this 4H close. If you have the 4H close above this level, I mean, I would not suggest taking a short position on Bitcoin, honestly, because you have a very small margin. You may not be able to catch a big move. Wait for stablecoin dominance to reach this resistance. That is when you can start taking a long position on Bitcoin. And I'm somehow started to feel that I've somehow started to feel that Bitcoin may going for these equal lows. There are two equal lows present around here. So maybe a sweep of 99,000. If we are very lucky, then maybe a sweep of 98.2K. That is going to be the opportunity. Mythical is asking, where is this link to join? Mythical, you can click the link in the description of this video. You can find the link to the to the Discord server. You can open a support ticket and join the mentorship program. All you have to do is just join the Discord server. You can also find the link to my Twitter account as well. Please make sure to like my, please make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. And by the way, I posted this tweet. If you guys can do that, please make sure to participate in this discussion as well. How many of you actually regret investing in crypto? Click on this link, participate in this Q&A sort of a post, and let me know your thoughts. In the comments, in the replies of this tweet. Please make sure to participate in it. I am nearing 50. Do you think it will go to my 𝗙𝗃𝗀 mentorship program? Lennon is asking. Lennon, let me tell you an interesting fact. I have people who are only 14 years old in my mentorship program. 14 years old. I guess the youngest person in my mentorship program is 14 years old. And then the eldest guy in my mentorship program is probably 75 years old. And then we have a 60-year-old guy as well, a 75-year-old retired person as well, then another 65-year-old person as well. Majority of the people, they are above the age of 40, 45, around the age of 50 as well. So you are definitely fine. If you are in your 50s, you're definitely fine. People who are in this people who are 75, 60, even if they can learn all of these concepts, you are all fine to do that. I mean, I recently came across a person who bought the mentorship program not just for him but for his 20-year-old son as well. So you can imagine that, the guy bought mentorship for himself and then for his son also. Don't you die at 50? No, don't say that. May you live long, may you have a healthy life ahead. And yeah, please review 𝗬. Okay, so I posted a few days ago on my Twitter account as well that do not buy 𝗬 any higher than do not pay attention to anyone who is shilling 𝗬 on Twitter. Do not buy 𝗬 any higher than 294. It will, and when I posted that, it was trading somewhere around here. During that last live stream, it was trading at resistance. People were willing to buy 𝗬. I was saying that do not buy, wait for 𝗬 to at least go back down to this level. Now, surprisingly or interestingly, for most of these coins, they have already given the deviation retest. you know uh, for the coins that had break below these important support levels back on 10th of October, they have already given these deviation retests, but few of these coins have not done that. One example being XRP, one example being 𝗬. So please remember that this is the region to go long on 𝗬 or buy 𝗬 in spot at 296. When I posted this, someone was planning to buy 𝗬 at $400 and they thanked me because I posted that. So yeah, $295. That is where the next support for 𝗬 is. Do not buy 𝗬 any higher than that. Same is the case with XRP also. XRP has not given the deviation retest. Wait for the deviation retest at this level around $1.9, around $2 region, and that's where you should be doing it. Lennon is saying, thanks for answering my question. I will dig some holes with your mentorship program. Yeah, sure. You are more than welcome to research into it. You can find all the information in the Discord server. Neon is asking, bro, don't you think that Bitcoin will sweep 98K? I mean, this is not something that we can predict, Neon. First of all, we cannot predict at this point if it will sweep 98K or if it will close below 98.2K. But that is going to be the most important part. If it gives a close below 98.2K, that is when situation is going to get really, really ugly. Okay, but if it just gives a wick below 98.2K on the daily time frame chart and then gives a daily candle close above 98.2K, then that's going to be a good thing. That's going to be swing failure pattern, and this is what based on which we are going to go long. uh ETH might sweep the internal lows till 3165 and defend the external low of 3054 to make SMT divergence. First of all, I do not use SMT divergence. And secondly, my point of view on Ethereum, please remember this thing, it's based on a weekly time frame chart. Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame chart, some divergences may happen. There might be a few other things. There can be an order block present, there can be a bounce at the fair value gap. But I've said this over and over again. I mean, people were telling me that why are you not taking profits off your ETH position at 3400? And I mentioned this very clearly. I'm not gonna do that because this is the long-term position. Forget about everything. Look at the weekly time frame chart and just focus on this support right here. Same is the case with Bitcoin. Once we shot at 108K, 110,000, you would forget about everything and you would only focus on 88,000, 89,000. Would a 4H close below 98.2K be enough, or would you need a daily? No, a daily close below 98.2K. It's not about what I would want to see, it's about the market structure. Because on the daily time frame chart, if we have a daily close below 98.2K, that is when the market structure shift is going to happen to the chart for ETH, and that is when situation will get ugly. That is when you will have the final nail in the coffin. That is when first time after October 2023, first time during the last 2 years, you would have the market structure shift on the chart for Bitcoin, and that really is going to be the big thing. I hope it makes sense. And I hope, Neon, I was able to respond to your question. Okay, is the mentorship recorded or live? No, the mentorship program is live. Once again, I have never really done that, but I would really encourage all of you to please join that mentorship program. You would really find some value. We are more than happy to provide you a good discount on that. But join it. You would really find value. You would really get to learn all of these concepts, and all of the lectures, they are done live, one-on-one sessions. I encourage people to participate in these lectures. These are completely interactive sessions. You can ask questions back and forth. We can have a nice discussion, but every single lecture happens live, and then that lecture is recorded, and then for the final reference, it is being edited and then uploaded in the student portal section on our website. You will have access to your student portal credentials, and then you can watch those lectures anytime you want. But every single lecture is done live. It is conducted live. These are not just the recorded lectures. So you will have just access to everything. And it's not just the lectures. We provide, the most important part is that even in mentorship, we provide you with every audiobook that is available out there, no matter how much it costs. We provide you any single book that you request, okay, no matter what is the cost of that book, no matter even if it's related to trading or not. We provide you with that book. We provide you with all the resources available that we can do. The PDFs, books, audiobooks, live lectures, recorded lectures, live support. You can schedule live calls with me, just you and me, one-on-one calls, and we can have discussion related to your portfolio, related to your learning, related to your risk management and everything. Every Friday we have these calls also. Every Friday we have the lectures also. You can schedule one-on-one lecture, one-on-one calls with me whenever you want, every single day you want, whenever your heart may please. And yeah, this is the main benefit of this mentorship program, in my opinion. I have raised a ticket in Foxian Discord group regarding mentorship program. Thank you so much, Lennon. Really appreciate that. Any one of you who would like to join the mentorship program, you can click the link in the description of this video, the link for the Discord server. Let me share the link in the um, for any one of you who is not a part of the Discord server. You can click on this link, open a support ticket, and raise an inquiry about the mentorship program, or you can simply just ask about the subscription of the Discord server and all that. Technospace is asking, is there any coin I could look at or you recommend to long when stablecoin dominance hits resistance? Honestly speaking, as of now, I'm not looking at any coin. Uh, there is no specific coin, I'll be honest with you, that I'm looking at. One that I have added in my watch list just this morning, this one is Q, but I keep forgetting why exactly I was. This is a strange thing. I keep forgetting why exactly I was planning to go long on Q at this level. I don't know if that was because of a point of control, if that was because of a. Uh, I just keep forgetting why exactly I was planning to go long on Q at this level. Maybe it was because of an imbalance. No, but there is no imbalance present here. I was looking at something, and as a result of it, I decided to go long on Q at this level. It was not because of support, it was because of some other thing that I just keep forgetting about. It was a really important confluence, but I just completely forgot about that confluence. I don't know, what exactly it was. I have been trying to figure that out. But yeah, this is the only coin that I'm looking at. And it is okay. It was actually the okay, now I remember. It was basically of the a bit it was basically because QUSDT was in the oversold territory. You can see that Q, yeah. So Q was in oversold territory, and as a result of it, I decided to go long on Q at this level. This was my confluence. But honestly, no other coin I'm looking at. You can see that it's already up almost 3%. Yeah, only just 3%. 50%? No, it was not 50% wick. It was the RSI heat map I was looking at. So I was just looking at the oversold coins, and this is a good way to look at the coins that are oversold on different time frames, oversold or overbought at different time frames, and you can just try to trade those coins. Can we enter? No, wait for price to make a move towards this level, but I'm not a big fan of using RSI. I was just only looking at the coins that are oversold, just for having an idea about what's happening in the market. Tell us about your trading journey. When did you start and when did you learn it? How long did it take for you to become profitable now? Okay, so many questions. I can probably explain all of this in some other live stream, but just to give you a brief overview, I started back in 2017, and uh, you know was a very interesting thing, because the first time I got to hear about crypto was I was working out in the gym at that time, and the owner of the gym, it was probably like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. The gym used to close at 12 a.m., and the owners of the gym, and then a few of his friends who were like, the bunch of the older dudes. I was probably like only 16, 15 at that time, 16, 17 at that time. And these older guys, they were talking about Bitcoin crypto at that time, 2017. That is when I first got to know. And they were talking about how there was a really good opportunity in crypto, investing into Bitcoin and all that. That is when I first got to know about crypto. Okay. I did not I did not get to know about it from a YouTube channel. I did not get to know about it from any other platform. But that was my first interaction with crypto. That was my first, introduction to crypto or Bitcoin in general. That is when I first started researching into it. And then I was free at that time. I had a break year at that time, and that is when I first started researching into it. And yeah, the rest of the story, it's quite interesting also. Lots of interesting things happened after that. I invested into a few coins. I was researching into a few things. A lot of things happened in life, but yeah, that is a story for probably some other day. I would explain it to you guys in detail. Would tell you everything in detail. But yeah, that was my first introduction to crypto back in 2017. 4H closed above trend line. We are going down. Yeah, most likely we are about to go down because on stablecoin dominance, we have a no. It wasn't exactly above trend line, but yeah, it should be clear at this point that we are going to 9.5%. When did you become a millionaire? What's the feeling? Um, Regarding the feeling part, there is no such feeling, which is an unfortunate thing also. It is difficult to explain in words until or unless you are someone who can relate with me. It is difficult to explain in words, I'll be honest with you. But there is no sense of achievement. When I went to Singapore, someone asked me that, what is the uh, most interesting part of your profession? Someone asked me, a friend asked me, uh, while I was in Singapore, that what is the most interesting thing about your profession? And I replied that the most interesting part or the most interesting thing is that there is no sense of fulfillment. There is no sense of achievement. I don't know if it's the same thing with every other profession also, but no matter, even if you are able to build a brand, like even if you're able to build a successful company, like we have a successful Discord server, Foxy, and it is one of the registered companies here in the UK. That is one of a, one big achievement. In terms of trading also, I am profitable. I have been profitable for quite some time, for quite few years. I have made more than enough money, more than what I can spend in this one lifetime. I would say I'm not even spending 0.1% of what I am earning, but still there is no sense of achievement. Every single day it's a new struggle. Every single day you have to wake up and start the struggle from the very beginning, start from the scratch. Few good trades, people would start appreciating you. Few bad trades, people would start blaming you. People would start hating you. You have a good series of trades, you have a good few months, and people would say that you are invincible. People would say that you are the best guy out there. Few bad trades, people would say that you are not the good guy, you are not good enough. So I have basically seen all of it over the past few years. I have basically seen all of it, and I would say that I'm basically used to of seeing all of this every few months, every single day, every now and then. uh, in terms of how exactly it feels like, making money, being profitable, honestly, nothing. The goalpost, the unfortunate part is that the goalpost keeps on shifting. The goals, they keep on changing. When you start trading, your goal is to make, let's say, $10,000. Then your goal is to make $1 million, 100K. Once you start making 100K, your goal is to make $1 million, and then it becomes $100 million. And once you start reaching that goal, your goal is to become a billionaire. So the goalpost just keeps on changing. There is never really a sense of fulfillment, never really a sense of achievement. And this is also an unfortunate part, but this is also the reality. Again, I don't exactly know if it's the same thing with every other profession. People working in other professions also, I don't know if they feel the same thing, but at least I feel, I feel that money cannot really buy you the happiness part. We used to think about this when we did not have enough. Okay, we used to make fun of this. We used to make memes about it. Anyone saying that Money cannot really buy you happiness. We used to make fun of these people. We used to say that if I had $1 million, if I had 100K, I would be more than happy. But trust me with this, that's not how it is. Okay, money cannot really buy you happiness. No matter how much money you have, it cannot buy you, uh, you know, the sense of fulfillment, the sense of achievement. It cannot buy you. It cannot really buy you the peace part, the peace, the inner peace. I don't exactly know, what how exactly you guys find that peace in your life. I have found peace in something that I would not like to discuss openly, because not many people would be able to relate with that. Basically, in my religion, basically in my God, uh, I have found peace in that part. I don't exactly know what is the case with you guys, but trust me with this, money is just the least important part once you reach that stage. I am a doctor, sense of achievement, and no money. We get paid £30 per hour. £30 per hour. Okay, that's actually good. Getting paid £30 per hour when the average pay is £15 per hour. I mean, you are definitely making good money, my man. We cannot have all of it. Where did you learn trading? Could you share some educational materials with us? Okay. First of all, uh I did not learn from any mentor. I did not learn from any mentorship program. And this is exactly why I tell people that you are more than welcome to join my mentorship program. Okay, you're more than welcome to do that. But I've never really said that this is the only way that you can learn. Even if I just talk about myself, I did not learn from any mentor. I did not learn from any mentorship program. I was only watching bunch of YouTube videos. But the best part or the good part is that I was spending a lot of time on Twitter. I was spending a lot of time giving people these signals. I was spending a lot of time reading the analysis of other people. Uh, so if you go on Twitter and if you read about Bitcoin, you would find 10 different kinds of opinion, 50 different kinds of people talking about 50 different kinds of things. Half of them would be saying that Bitcoin is going down, half of them would be saying that Bitcoin is going up. Those 25 people saying that Bitcoin should be going down, they would have a valid reason to say it should be going down. Those 20 other 25 saying that Bitcoin should be going up, they would have an altogether valid reason to say that it should be going up. But by reading the analysis of these 50 people, you would get access to these 50 different kinds of opinions. And this is the way that I learned myself. And whenever someone asks me that, what is the best possible way to learn, I always tell them that it is not by watching a YouTube video, it is not by reading a book, it is not by learning from a mentor, it is by spending as much time as you can reading the analysis of other people, learning the way or reading the way that people share their analysis, learning about the opinions of other people, reading the opinions of all these people sharing their charts. This is the way that you can learn. You don't really have to align yourself with one particular opinion or one particular way or one particular trading strategy. You can actually just, watch all of these 50 people share their opinion, and that is the way that you can learn, in my opinion, the best possible way. But obviously, you're more than welcome to join my mentorship program. Also, Neon is asking, are you a Muslim? Yes, I'm a proud Muslim. Always losing, Ken is saying. Everyone is asking about positive things, but I would like to know, how much did you lose in the 10th of October liquidation event? I lost a lot of money on that day. And I'm telling you that my first liquidation, the first time I got liquidated, it was for $93,000. Okay. Quite recently, I lost another $83,000. More than 100K, I have lost quite a few times. But I'm just telling you that even my first liquidation event, the first time I got liquidated in Bitcoin, that was a Bitcoin short position. Even that liquidation was for $93,000. I still remember that. And at that point, it was all that I had, those $93,000. And it felt really painful at that time. I was really upset at that time. And then it just became, I mean, not the liquidation part. I was not getting liquidated over and over again. I'm just saying that. And then the losing became just a normal thing. Okay, because when you start trading, you realize that I was very egoistic. I would give you an advice that if you have a very big ego, first try to bring it down once you start trading. Because if you have a big ego, just like I had when I started trading, I was obsessed with winning over and over again. I was a topper in school. I was a topper in college. I had 3 gold medals in university also. I was really good with academics. I was really good with all other walks of life, all other fields of life. And the very same ego I came with when I started trading. And that was the worst possible part. Because when you start trading, you realize that losing is just a normal thing. It's more like a coin flip. It can be heads, it can be tails. More than often, you would not really be able to predict the right outcome. So, the sooner you start getting used to this losing thing, better it's going to be for your own mental health. And it took me quite some time to get used to it because, as I said, I had a large ego, I had a big ego, and I was not, I was, all I was thinking all I was thinking about at that time was that I'm so good at everything else that I do in my life. How come I cannot figure out this thing? But I was figuring out the trading thing the very wrong way. I was thinking that losing is not an option when it comes to trading. Or I was thinking that there are people out there who are not losing at all. And please remember this thing, everybody is losing. All these big banks, all these institutions, all these hedge funds also, they are losing at times. All these big investors also, no matter how good you are, you would always, there can be a rough patch in your life. You can always be on the losing side, and the sooner you realize this, better it is going to be for you. How did you manage to make money then if that was all you had and no job? I mean, that's just the easy part. uh you know you can borrow money from someone. I borrowed some money from my father. It's not the difficult part. Even if I had something very small left, I mean, I'm not. All I'm trying to explain is that I was liquidated for that money that I had. Not like I could not afford to put another amount, any other amount into my wallet, or I was bankrupt, or I was just living on the road. No, I was never really in that spot. But not peace exactly. Yes, exactly, Khan. How many? Okay, before you winter was taken is asking how many siblings you got, Sherlock. So before you guys start asking me any personal questions, I would like to conclude the discussion here. uh, let's keep it professional, let's keep it simple. Let's stick to the main topic. Stablecoin dominance, as I said at the very start, has already given a 4H close above this trend line. So it's quite possible that it's about to make a move towards 9.5% resistance level. So be prepared for it. We are about to have a slow bleed towards 98,000, 99,000. Very likely, you can see that Bitcoin has already started to break below. Bitcoin has already started to lose this ascending trend line, as a result of which we are about to make a move towards 98.2K most likely. Uh, okay, guys, that's it for today. This was a really interesting live stream. I really enjoyed responding to all of these questions. I hope you guys, enjoyed the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Please, once again, I would request all of you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to like this live stream. And if you're not following me on Twitter, Sherlock Whale, this is my Twitter handle. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I regularly post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link for the Discord server you can find in the description of this video. Also, um, the link to the uh, Twitter account and the link to our Bluffpin affiliate you can also find in the description of this video. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care and have a great week ahead. See you guys next week. Bye bye.